Hey, this is Flatlander Mike from Saskatchewan, Canada again, and I'm going to do a little different video today. I'm going to go through all the additions, all the accessories, modifications I did to my 2014 Yamaha Viking. My son told me I should do this, and then if you want any more information on what I did or how to do it, I have all the videos on my YouTube channel, Flatlander Mike, and we'll just go through and just show you all the ones, and then they'll be at your fingertips. You'll be able to see which ones you want to watch, and good luck. So we'll just get started right away. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is the enclosure. Now, I built this enclosure by myself from scratch, and actually all I had was this low windshield. This is all I had on this when I started. So I added the windshield, piece of windshield. I had to do some modifications on that to make it work right. Side panels, I did all of them from scratch. There's all your supports. The doors, I made the frames all by myself with some scrap metal that would have just went into to recycle. Handles, hinges, the back. The only one I did purchase is the back. And this was from Super ATV, which I find them very good products. So that's the number one thing. There is a video on this, so you could go through that. Other thing I did was I put in a fuse panel. So it's right here. I had enough room under here. It's fastened in, and because I didn't want to hook everything up to just to the battery, so then have a whole bunch of wires coming off of the battery. So what I did was I ran two larger cables from the battery onto this fuse block, and now I've got all my accessories running off of there. So let me see, next thing. I guess we'll go to the plow. Well, the plow, now that was a bit of a challenge. It's a 72-inch plow from Colpin. It's not very expensive. I bought it from Canadian Tire. That's a hardware store up here for you guys down in the States. Now the challenge was it just comes with one bracket, and I actually came across this bracket that goes. It's called a Swisher plow, and it goes right to the back, to the hitch, fastens into the hitch. You can see it right there. So it fastens into the hitch on the unit, and there's a long pipe that goes, square pipe tubing, goes to the front. And anyway, I had lots of problems with bending it and stuff. It wasn't heavy enough. And part of the problem was me. I was banging into the snowbanks with it, and then it would bend and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we got it all straightened out, and it's a bit of attitude adjustment on my account of how to use it. I put a winch on here before that. Now there's a winch. We'll just kind of turn the light on here. It's a 3,500 pound winch with a rope cable, and it's all hooked in. There's a control box underneath, and I decided instead of trying to pull it up from here straight over, the plow sits out quite a ways in front because of the tracks. So I put a couple of pulleys in here, and they're just regular pulleys. I think they're like 200 or 300 pound pulleys rating on them. So they work just fine, and so now it pulls up more more vertical than it does with just the winch. So anyway, so that was quite an outfit. And then this year I decided I was going to put in a power tilt so I could tilt it back and forth. So anyway, I put in a bracket here and I bought a linear actuator, and the first time I hit something with the corner of the plow, it bent the actuator and bent the shaft inside. So I just took it off, put the manual back on. So, next we got tracks. They are X4S and Sam. They're a bit of a lighter duty track, made by Camso. And these tracks, boy, I don't know how I did without them in the snow. They're just incredible. I can go through anything with them. The only thing that I can see might stop me is slush. And if I got stuck in the slush, yeah, it would be kind of hard to get out. So, but anyway, they're well worth the money. I paid $4,500 Canadian plus tax, which was just under $5,000. But for going on the lake and ice fishing, whatever, and plowing, they're just indispensable. So anyway, there's a couple videos on that. Next, let me see, what else have I got? Let me see. I have a homemade tarp. I just sewed this tarp up because what happened was the tracks threw so much snow up. They were thrown because they stick out behind, you see. They would throw it up and fill the box full of snow. So I just took the tarp and sewed it up, sewed a couple corners in it, and went over to my marine shop and I bought some buttons here, some snap buttons. So it just unsnaps and it comes off like nothing. So it keeps it nice and dry in there. And there again, the problem I had with snow coming up, I put this rock solid mud flap on. I had that on my truck. But you know what? It's not the greatest. You can see when it gets really cold, they can break off the tabs. I had to bend them because they kept catching onto the tracks. So I would probably go with the mustache one, the brush ones. If I ever buy one, I'll see if I can find a used one and cut it or whatever I need to do. I found a couple of pieces of the brush things at a garage sale. So they're right here. I mounted them inside here because what was happening was the snow was going in and just filling up around my engine and everything. And it would take forever to melt out. So kind of fix that up. What else have we got here? Power steering. Now, if you don't have power steering, I would highly recommend Easy Steer power steering from Super ATV. Now there it is in there. Pretty easy to put in. I didn't have really much trouble doing it, but I am a mechanic, so I would recommend though that you do lift up this part of the hood and everything. Take it all off. Take the clips out inside. There's clips on here, plastic clips. Take that all out. I had to take my side panels off here, and that's when I replaced them from the plexiglass to the polycarbonate. So I would recommend you doing that. You have to lift this whole thing, and what you do is you just lift up the whole front end, all the plastic and lift it up the roll bar and then kind of tie it up with a tie strap or whatever. And then that kind of makes it easier to put in. Let's see, what else have I got? Well, I've got signal lights, which go, there's two in the front, two on the side over there, and then red ones in the back. They're just little LED lights, and they work great. I have lights, switches here. I'll just kind of shine this on here and show you what I have. My light's caught. Okay, so I've got see, interior light, which is just an LED light up here. And then I have flashing lights, which are on the outside here, one at the front, one at the back, and that's when I'm plowing, I use them. I have a heater fan. That's the next thing. I also installed a sand spreader. Okay, so I found out, so I've got a switch here that turns the spreader wheel. It's not on right now. And then the other thing is a vibe. So I have a vibrator that bolts onto the side of the outside of it. And when I turn this on, it just shakes it, makes the stuff fall down. So, the sand. So, or you could be spreading seed or whatever, fertilizer. Same thing. So, okay, so and the other one here, this is a switch, a signal switch, right here. So I just flip it to the side. Oops. Flip it to the side. And here I got a signal right here. And there's one at the back, red. And then I just flip it to the other side, and the right side goes. Then my latest video was temperature gauge. So I got my temperature gauge right here. It actually reads it on the radiator hose. Let me see. Well, and my plow. To power my plow up and down, I've got a thing here that plugs into, this is a power source, so that tells me that the power is on. And then I have switches here, which I hooked up when I did the plow. So here's my plow here, up and down, and then this would be sideways. And it's not hooked up because obviously I don't have an actuator hooked up to it. So okay, so unplug that. What else do we have here? I have a mirrors, rear view here. I've got outside mirrors, and I have an extra battery. So the battery is actually underneath. So you can actually look at the battery under here. Go in through this hole here. You can get at the battery connectors. But if you want to take the battery out, then you need to go in through the back. Into the back wheel well. There's a plastic, I guess, inner wheel well there that you can take out. And then I have, so that's hooked up in parallel with the other battery in the front. And then I have, it runs through this switch. So this switch, that's both batteries, that turns this, isolates this battery under the seat. So if I happen to kill the front battery for some reason, I can flip that on and it'll boost the other battery. So that's The other thing I did was I was pulling some shacks in after I got the tracks on and off of the ice, fish shacks, and I ended up with a leak. It was a rear leak. It was in here. It was leaking oil, so that would be engine oil. So it was leaking down in here. Couldn't figure exactly where it was, but so anyway, I took it apart, and I do have a video about this. And it actually ended up being the yoke that goes for the rear drive shaft, and it bolts onto the yoke. Well, someone had, I think, taken it apart, and when they put it back together, they didn't put Loctite on the nut for the yoke, and the nut backed off and started to leak oil. So, so there's a video on that, replacing the rear seal. That's just about it, I think. Yeah, so that's a lot of stuff I've done to it. Oh, the heater. I didn't do the heater. Yeah, so the heater is just from Amazon. It's down there. I ran the wires into the heater hoses, or not the heater hoses, I guess it's the rad hoses. Ran it off up to here both ways, so it would suck up through here and then go back into the cooling system. So this is the second one I've actually had. The first one developed a leak, and so I bought a little bit bigger one. It's still not the greatest heater, but it does keep the window fairly clear. I've got vents coming up here, one on each side, and it kind of moves the air around, so it's enough to keep it fairly clear. So, but so yeah, if you need any other information on this, it's in the videos. If not, you can send me a message, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. So it's been a blast doing all this. So, like I say, if you got any questions, email me, and like, subscribe. Helps me with my totals here. So, yeah, so you guys have a good day, and you take care.